The Mockery Inn. The vast expanse of the galaxy, where starships glittered like diamonds against the dark canvas of space, the Galactic Council held its grand assembly. The council chamber was enormous, filled with representatives from countless alien species. Its walls shimmered with holographic displays, showing the latest technologies and news from across the galaxy. Today, however, the council's attention was focused on the humans. The human delegation, led by Commander Sarah Mitchell, stood at the center of the room, facing an audience of skeptical alien faces. Commander Mitchell was tall and wore a uniform that spoke of both authority and pride. Beside her were two engineers who nervously held a small, unassuming box. The council's leader, a tall, blue-skinned alien with multiple eyes named Ralcor, addressed the humans with a tone that was a mix of curiosity and mockery. "Welcome, humans. We've heard you wish to demonstrate your weaponry. We are eager to see what you have brought us." Commander Mitchell took a deep breath. She knew this was a critical moment. "Thank you, Ralcor. We believe our guns have capabilities that will surprise you." A murmur of amusement rippled through the council chamber. Most of the representatives had seen countless advanced technologies from various species and had little regard for what the humans could offer. To them, human guns were nothing more than relics of a bygone era. Mitchell nodded to one of the engineers, who stepped forward and opened the box. Inside lay a sleek metallic firearm. It was nothing extraordinary by galactic standards. No advanced energy beams or intricate alien designs. Just a simple, robust human gun. The council members leaned forward, whispering among themselves. A green-skinned alien with 4 arms named Zorath let out a loud chuckle. "Is this all you have? It looks like something from an old Earth War movie." Another representative, a reptilian creature named Voss, added with a sneer, "I hope you don't plan to impress us with this antique. Our weapons can obliterate entire fleets." Commander Mitchell's face remained calm, but inside she felt a pang of frustration. She knew that the council's laughter was more than just about the weapon. It was about underestimating humans as a whole. But she was determined to prove them wrong. Ralcor, noticing the unease, decided to heighten the drama. "Very well, humans. We will give you a chance to prove your claims. We have prepared a testing area on a remote planet. If your weapons can show any real power, we shall reconsider our opinion." A loud, sarcastic cheer echoed through the chamber as the representatives continued to mock. Commander Mitchell and her team were escorted out of the chamber, feeling the weight of the council's ridicule. On board their shuttle, as they traveled to the testing site, the mood was somber. The engineers were quiet, lost in their own thoughts. Mitchell took the time to prepare her speech, knowing she had only one chance to make a positive impression. She reminded herself that the future of humanity's place in the galaxy depended on this moment. The shuttle landed on the desolate surface of the test planet. It was an arid, barren world with little more than rocky terrain and dust. A small area had been set up as a target range, with various alien technology and machinery lined up as targets. Mitchell's team quickly got to work, setting up the gun and preparing for the demonstration. They worked efficiently but with an underlying tension, knowing that every step was under the watchful eyes of the council's observation drones. The moment of truth arrived. The test was to be simple. Fire the gun at a series of targets and demonstrate its effectiveness. The council's representative, a stern-looking alien named Tarek, watched with a detached interest from a nearby observation module. Mitchell gave the signal, and the first gun was fired. A loud crack echoed across the barren landscape, and the first target, a piece of alien tech, was hit. It shattered into pieces, sending debris flying. The council's drones recorded every detail, and the silence was palpable. The engineers exchanged nervous glances. Mitchell's heart raced as she watched the council's reaction. Ralcor and the other council members had their eyes glued to the monitors. The initial laughter and mockery had faded, replaced by an uneasy curiosity. As the demonstration continued, the human guns proved to be more effective than anyone had expected. Each shot hit its mark with precision, and the alien machinery was destroyed with a power that defied its simple appearance. The council members, once so eager to ridicule, now watched with growing interest. The mocking smiles were replaced by expressions of surprise and contemplation. Mitchell knew they had made an impact, but whether it would be enough to change their opinions was still uncertain. As the demonstration concluded, the Council's representative Tarek approached Mitchell with a measured tone. "Commander Mitchell, your weapons have certainly shown surprising power. We will need to discuss this further. Please remain on standby while we deliberate." Mitchell nodded, feeling a mix of relief and anticipation. The Council's reaction was a far cry from the initial mockery, but she knew that their final decision would be crucial. She and her team had done their part. Now it was up to the Council to see the potential of what humanity had to offer. As they awaited the Council's decision, Mitchell looked out at the barren planet. This was only the beginning. The true challenge lay ahead, but she was ready to face it, armed with the knowledge that they had made their point. The test begins. The desolate planet's surface stretched out in every direction, an expanse of dusty rocks and barren soil. The sky above was a dull, muted gray, casting a lifeless hue over everything. The human delegation had set up their testing equipment in this isolated area, far from the vibrant council chamber where they had faced ridicule. Commander Sarah Mitchell and her team worked swiftly, their breaths visible in the thin atmosphere. The engineers, Jack and Emily, were busy arranging the targets. They had brought a variety of alien technology for this test, each one representing a different type of machinery and defense system. The goal was to show that human guns, despite their simple appearance, were both effective and reliable. The Council's representative, Tarek, stood off to one side with a few of his aides, observing the preparation with a skeptical gaze. His eyes, dark and unreadable, tracked every movement of the humans. The Council had demanded proof of the gun's capabilities, and now the moment of truth had arrived. Mitchell walked over to her team, her expression determined. "Everyone, this is it. We've prepared for this moment. Let's show them what we can do." Jack nodded, his face set in a serious line. "All set, Commander. Targets are in position. We're ready." Emily, adjusting the settings on the firing control panel, glanced up. "Just a reminder, we need to make sure the guns perform as expected. One misstep could cost us everything." Mitchell gave a reassuring smile. "We'll be fine. Remember, the Council is watching closely. We need to make a strong impression." With everything in place, the demonstration began. Mitchell signaled Jack to take the first shot. He moved to the firing station, a sleek human gun in his hands. The gun's design was straightforward, but its craftsmanship was top-notch. It was powerful and precise, built to make every shot count. The first target was a piece of advanced alien machinery. Jack took a deep breath and aimed carefully. He squeezed the trigger, and a loud crack echoed across the planet. The shot was true, hitting the target squarely. The alien machinery exploded in a shower of sparks and fragments. A murmur of surprise rippled through Tarek's aides, but the representative himself remained stoic. The Council's drones hovered above, capturing every detail of the test. Mitchell observed the reaction closely. The initial surprise on the aides' faces was a good sign, but she needed to see if it would translate into a genuine change in attitude from Tarek and the Council. The next target was a larger, more complex piece of alien technology. It was designed to withstand high-impact attacks, and its purpose was to test the limits of the human guns. Emily set up the gun and adjusted its settings, making sure everything was perfect. Jack took another shot, and this time the gun emitted a powerful beam of energy. The target shook as if struck by a hammer. The machinery's protective shields flared, but they could not withstand the force. The target crumpled and fell apart. The engineers exchanged glances of relief. Emily's hands trembled slightly as she worked the controls. "This is going well, but we have to keep this up." Mitchell nodded. "Just keep focused. We're making a strong case here." The demonstration continued with various targets, each one more challenging than the last. The human guns proved their worth with each shot, demonstrating their power and accuracy. The alien technology, designed to test the limits, fell apart under the relentless assault. As the test progressed, Tarek's demeanor shifted. He no longer stood rigid and detached. Instead, he seemed more engaged, his eyes narrowing as he watched the results. The initial skepticism was replaced by a cautious interest. His aides, too, were no longer whispering in mockery, but discussing the performance with visible intrigue. Finally, Mitchell signaled that the demonstration was complete. The firing station was shut down, and the engineers began packing up the equipment. The barren landscape was littered with the remains of the alien technology, evidence of the human gun's effectiveness. Tarek approached Mitchell, his expression unreadable, but his eyes revealing a hint of contemplation. "Commander Mitchell, your demonstration was impressive. The power of your weapons was beyond our initial expectations." Mitchell felt a wave of relief. She knew they had shown the Council something significant, but she also understood that this was only one part of the challenge. The Council's final judgment would depend on more than just a successful test. "We appreciate the opportunity to demonstrate our technology," Mitchell said. "We hope this will help in understanding what humans can contribute to the galactic community." Tarek nodded, his gaze shifting to the scattered debris of the alien targets. "It seems your weapons have potential. We will need time to review the results and discuss with the other council members." Mitchell and her team packed up their equipment, their faces reflecting a mix of exhaustion and hope. The test had gone well, but the outcome was still uncertain. They knew that the council's final decision would shape their future, and they had done their best to prove their worth. As they prepared to leave the test site, Mitchell looked around at the barren planet. It had been a harsh environment, but it had served its purpose. Now, all they could do was wait for the Council's decision and hope that their efforts would lead to a brighter future for humanity in the galaxy. The test was over, but the journey was far from finished. The shock, the barren planet's surface, littered with the remnants of alien technology, was silent now, save for the occasional gust of wind that stirred the dust. The demonstration was over, but the atmosphere was charged with anticipation. Commander Sarah Mitchell and her team had completed their test, and now they awaited the Council's reaction. In the observation module, Tarek and his aides reviewed the footage of the test. The room was dimly lit, filled with the soft hum of machinery. Tarek's eyes were fixed on the screens, showing each shot in high definition. His usual stern expression had softened into one of deep concentration. Mitchell and her engineers gathered nearby, tired but hopeful. They watched as Tarek scrutinized the results, their breaths held in suspense. The demonstration had gone better than they had hoped, but the true test was in the Council's response. The Council's chamber was filled with murmurs of disbelief. The Council members, who had once laughed at the human weapons, now faced the reality of their power. The displays around the chamber showed highlights from the test, each shot revealing the unexpected strength of the human guns. Ralcor, the council leader, paced back and forth, his multiple eyes scanning the data. His usual smug demeanor was replaced by a look of concern. "This is more impressive than we anticipated," he said, his voice echoing through the chamber. Zorath, the green-skinned alien who had mocked the humans earlier, was now silent. He watched the screens with a mix of surprise and discomfort. His earlier laughter had turned into a furrowed brow. "Their weapons are stronger than we thought. This could be a problem." The council members began to discuss among themselves, their voices rising in heated debate. Some expressed admiration, while others remained skeptical. The initial ridicule had given way to a complex mix of respect and unease. Back on the test planet, Mitchell's team tried to stay calm. They had done everything they could, and now it was up to the council to decide. The silence was tense, broken only by the distant sounds of the planet's harsh environment. Suddenly, a communication link crackled to life. Tarek's voice came through clear and authoritative. "Commander Mitchell, we have reviewed the footage. The performance of your weapons was surprising. We need to discuss the implications with the council." Mitchell nodded, feeling a surge of relief mixed with anxiety. "Understood. We'll be waiting for your decision." As the team packed up their gear, the tension was palpable. They had shown the council what their guns could do, but the next steps were uncertain. The council's reaction could determine whether their technology would be accepted or dismissed. Back in the council chamber, the debate continued. Ralcor finally called for order, raising his hand to silence the room. "Enough! We must come to a decision." The chamber quieted, and all eyes turned to Ralcor. He continued. The demonstration has shown that human technology possesses capabilities we did not expect. This requires careful consideration. A blue-skinned alien named Merak, known for his expertise in galactic defense, spoke up. While the power of these weapons is notable, we must consider the potential risks. What if their technology falls into the wrong hands? How can we be sure it will be used responsibly? Another council member, a tall, slender alien with a silver complexion named Lyra, countered, "The humans have shown their intent to be part of the galactic community. If their technology is as effective as it seems, we must weigh the benefits of their inclusion." The discussion grew more intense as the council members weighed the pros and cons. The chamber's atmosphere was a mix of awe and apprehension. The laughter and mockery from earlier were replaced by a serious evaluation of the human technology's potential. Back on the test planet, Mitchell and her team waited anxiously. The minutes felt like hours as they hoped for a favorable decision. The team members exchanged nervous glances, each one thinking about the impact this moment could have on their future. Finally, the communication link crackled again. Tarek's voice came through, firm and decisive. "Commander Mitchell, the Council has reached a decision. We acknowledge the power of your weapons and the potential they bring. However, before we can fully integrate your technology into the galactic community, we require further assurances." Mitchell's heart raced. "What kind of assurances are you asking for?" Tarek's response was measured. "We need detailed plans for the safe use and regulation of your technology. Additionally, we must establish a joint task force to monitor and ensure that the technology is used responsibly. Only then can we proceed with the next steps." Mitchell nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. "We will provide the necessary plans and work with the task force to ensure everything is in order." As the link closed, Mitchell turned to her team, who looked both relieved and exhausted. The Council's decision was not an outright rejection, but it was clear that more work was needed. The road ahead was still uncertain, but there was a glimmer of hope. Mitchell took a deep breath and addressed her team. "We've made progress today, but there's still more to do. Let's focus on meeting the Council's requirements and show them that we are ready to be a valuable part of the galactic community." With renewed determination, the team set to work, preparing the detailed plans and protocols required by the Council. The shock of the Council's initial reaction had turned into a challenge, and they were ready to face it head-on. As they left the test planet and prepared to return to their base, Mitchell reflected on the journey ahead. The demonstration had been a success, but the real challenge lay in proving their commitment and responsibility. The future of humanity's place in the galaxy was at stake, and they were determined to rise to the occasion. Growing tension back at their base, Commander Sarah Mitchell and her team worked tirelessly to prepare the required documentation for the Council. The base was a hive of activity, with engineers and analysts focused on drafting detailed plans for the safe use and regulation of their technology. The tension in the air was palpable, a mix of anxiety and determination. Mitchell sat in her office, surrounded by holographic displays and piles of paperwork. The hum of machinery and the occasional beep of alert systems created a backdrop of constant activity. She stared at a screen showing the Council's latest communication, which had requested a review of their safety protocols. Each document needed to be precise and thorough, ensuring the Council would have no reason to reject their proposals. Jack and Emily, the engineers who had been instrumental in the demonstration, worked beside her. Jack was reviewing safety measures, while Emily focused on creating a detailed implementation plan. Both were deeply engrossed, their faces reflecting the stress of the task at hand. Mitchell's comms device beeped, signaling an incoming message. It was from Lieutenant Commander Tarek, the Council's representative who had been monitoring their progress. The message was brief but urgent. "Commander Mitchell, I need to discuss a recent development with you. Please come to the observation module." Mitchell frowned, sensing the gravity of the situation. She nodded to her team and headed to the observation module, which was located a short distance from their main operations center. The module was a small, secure room with a large viewport looking out over the barren landscape of the test planet. Inside, Tarek awaited her, his usual calm demeanor replaced by an expression of concern. "Commander, please have a seat." Mitchell sat down, her mind racing with questions. "What's the issue, Tarek?" Tarek's gaze was serious as he began. "There have been some troubling reports. We've received information suggesting that factions within the Council are not entirely on board with integrating your technology. There are concerns about potential misuse and security risks." Mitchell's heart sank. "Are these concerns valid? We've made sure our technology is secure and that we have rigorous safety measures in place." Tarek nodded. "Yes, but there are powerful voices within the Council who believe that even with these measures, the risks are too high. They fear that your technology could disrupt the current balance of power or be used inappropriately." Mitchell felt a surge of frustration. "We've already provided detailed plans and protocols. What more can we do to address their concerns?" Tarek's expression softened slightly. "The Council's skepticism is not just about your technology. It's also about the broader implications of bringing a new player into the galactic stage. Some members worry that humanity's rapid advancement could destabilize existing alliances and power structures." Mitchell took a deep breath, trying to calm herself. "We understand the concerns, but we need a clear path forward. What can we do to overcome this resistance?" Tarek considered her question carefully. "You may need to engage directly with the Council members who are most opposed. Present your case in person, address their concerns, and show them your commitment to the galactic community." Mitchell nodded. "I'll arrange for a meeting with those Council members. We need to make them see that our technology can be a force for good, not a threat." As she left the observation module, Mitchell felt a renewed sense of purpose. She knew that gaining the Council's approval would not be easy, but she was determined to push forward. Back at the base, she called a meeting with her team. Jack and Emily gathered around the central briefing table, their faces showing the strain of the past few days. "Listen up," Mitchell began. "We've hit a bump in the road. The Council is facing internal resistance regarding our technology. We need to address their concerns directly." Jack looked worried. "What kind of concerns are we talking about?" Mitchell explained the situation. "Some Council members are worried about the impact of our technology on the existing balance of power. They're concerned about potential misuse and how our rapid advancement might affect galactic stability." Emily frowned. "So, what do we do?" "We need to meet with the Council members who are most opposed," Mitchell said. "We have to convince them that our technology is safe and that we are committed to using it responsibly. This is our chance to address their concerns head-on and show them that we are a trustworthy ally." Jack and Emily nodded, determination replacing their earlier fatigue. "We're with you, Commander," Jack said. Mitchell's team worked late into the night, preparing for the upcoming meetings with the Council members. They revised their safety protocols, prepared detailed explanations of their technology's potential benefits, and crafted persuasive arguments to address the Council's concerns. The following day, Mitchell and her team were escorted to the Council's chamber. The atmosphere was tense, and the Council members sat in their seats waiting to hear what the humans had to say. The chamber was filled with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. Mitchell stood before the Council, her heart pounding. She began her presentation with confidence, outlining their safety measures and the steps they had taken to ensure responsible use of their technology. She addressed each concern raised by the Council members, providing clear and concise answers. As she spoke, she could see some of the Council members softening. The skepticism was still there, but there was also a growing sense of respect for the effort and transparency the humans were demonstrating. By the end of the presentation, Mitchell felt a glimmer of hope. The Council members were engaged, and the initial tension seemed to ease. The road ahead was still uncertain, but the conversation had shifted from doubt to dialogue. As Mitchell and her team left the chamber, they knew they had made progress. The path to gaining full acceptance from the Council was still challenging, but they had taken a crucial step in addressing the growing tension and building trust with the galaxy's most influential leaders. The sabotage, the tension in the Galactic Council's chamber had eased somewhat after Commander Sarah Mitchell's successful presentation. The Council members were now more receptive, but doubts still lingered. As the humans worked diligently to address the Council's concerns, an unexpected challenge emerged: sabotage. Back at the human base, the mood was cautiously optimistic. The team continued to refine their safety protocols and prepare for further discussions with the Council. But their progress was abruptly interrupted one evening by an urgent message from their security chief, Laura Hayes. "Commander Mitchell, we've detected a security breach." Laura's voice crackled over the comms. "It looks like someone has tampered with our equipment. I need you to come to the security office immediately." Mitchell's heart sank. Sabotage was the last thing they needed at this critical juncture. She quickly assembled her team and headed to the security office, where Laura was already reviewing the security footage. Laura pointed to the screen, showing a series of video clips. "We've identified a few unauthorized access points. Someone with access to our systems has been trying to interfere with our equipment." Mitchell watched the footage closely. In the recordings, a shadowy figure moved stealthily through the base, accessing restricted areas and manipulating equipment. The figure was masked, making identification difficult. "We need to find out who's behind this," Mitchell said firmly. "This sabotage could jeopardize everything we've worked for." Laura nodded. "I've already started tracing the breach. It seems like someone with high-level clearance was involved. I'll have more information shortly." As Laura and her team delved into the investigation, Mitchell's mind raced. Who would want to sabotage their efforts and why? She knew that if their technology was tampered with or misrepresented, it could undermine their credibility with the Council. Hours later, Laura returned with troubling news. "Commander, our preliminary investigation points to a Council member who has been vocal against our technology. Their access logs show multiple unauthorized entries into our systems." Mitchell's face tightened with concern. "Are you saying that one of the Council members is behind this?" "It seems likely," Laura confirmed. "The patterns match up with their known movements and access levels. We need to act quickly to prevent further damage and address this issue with the Council." Mitchell took a deep breath. "We need to gather evidence and confront this Council member. We can't let them undermine our efforts." With the evidence in hand, Mitchell and her team prepared for a critical meeting with Tarek, the Council's representative. They needed to present their findings and request an immediate investigation into the sabotage. When Mitchell arrived at the Council's observation module, Tarek was waiting for her. His expression was serious, reflecting the gravity of the situation. "Commander Mitchell, what's this about a security breach?" Tarek asked. Mitchell handed over the evidence, showing the footage of the unauthorized access and the details of the tampering. "We have reason to believe that a Council member has been involved in sabotaging our equipment. We need your help to address this issue." Tarek reviewed the evidence carefully, his face showing a mix of shock and concern. "This is serious. If a Council member is involved, it could have significant repercussions. We will need to conduct a thorough investigation." "Thank you," Mitchell said. "We need this matter resolved quickly to ensure that our technology is evaluated fairly and to prevent any further interference." Tarek nodded. "I will bring this to the Council's attention immediately. An investigation will be launched, and we will address the issue as swiftly as possible." As Mitchell left the observation module, she felt a mix of relief and apprehension. The investigation was a crucial step, but the outcome was uncertain. They had to hope that the Council would take the matter seriously and that the sabotage would not derail their efforts. Back at the base, the team continued their work, now under heightened security. Every precaution was taken to ensure that their technology and data were protected from further interference. The mood was tense but determined as they waited for the Council's response. Days passed, and the investigation continued. The Council was under pressure to resolve the issue, and tensions among the members grew. Some supported a swift resolution, while others were cautious, fearing the implications of exposing a Council member's involvement. Finally, Tarek contacted Mitchell with an update. "Commander, the investigation has revealed that the sabotage was indeed carried out by a Council member. Their actions have been addressed and the Council has taken appropriate measures." Mitchell's heart raced. "What does this mean for us?" "The Council has condemned the sabotage," Tarek explained. "They have also implemented stricter security protocols to prevent future incidents. Your technology will continue to be evaluated fairly, and the Council is committed to ensuring a transparent process." Mitchell breathed a sigh of relief. The immediate threat had been addressed, but the experience had been a harsh reminder of the challenges they faced. The sabotage had shown that there were forces working against them, but it had also strengthened their resolve to prove their worth. As the team regrouped and prepared for the next steps, Mitchell reflected on the journey so far. They had overcome significant obstacles, and although there were still challenges ahead, they were more determined than ever to see their mission through. The path to acceptance in the galactic community was fraught with difficulties, but they were ready to face them head-on. The decision. The days following the sabotage were tense. Commander Sarah Mitchell and her team had worked hard to ensure that their technology remained secure and that the Council's investigation was thorough. Now, with the sabotage addressed, they awaited the Council's final decision with bated breath. The Galactic Council had scheduled a special session to discuss the future of humanity's technology. The chamber was filled with a palpable sense of anticipation. The council members seated in their ornate chairs. The room buzzed with quiet conversations, and the atmosphere was charged with a mixture of nervousness and hope. Mitchell and her team arrived at the council chamber early, taking their seats in the designated area for external representatives. They exchanged nervous glances, each one reflecting the weight of the moment. They had done everything they could to demonstrate the value of their technology, and now it was up to the council to decide. Tarek, who had been a crucial ally throughout the process, approached Mitchell with a reassuring nod. "Commander, today's decision will be crucial. The council members are expected to deliberate on the results of the investigation and your technology's potential. Stay confident." Mitchell nodded, taking a deep breath. "Thank you, Tarek. We've done our best. Let's hope it's enough." The council's leader, Ralcor, called the session to order. His multiple eyes surveyed the room, his voice resonating with authority. "Today we gather to make a decision regarding the integration of human technology into our galactic community. We will consider the results of the recent investigation and the demonstrations provided by Commander Mitchell and her team." A hush fell over the chamber as Ralcor continued. "The investigation into the recent sabotage has been completed. The council member involved has been dealt with according to our protocols. We will now proceed to discuss the merits of human technology and its potential role in our collective security." Mitchell felt a wave of anxiety mixed with hope. The council's decision would determine the future of humanity's place in the galaxy. She glanced at her team, who were focused intently on the proceedings. Council members began to speak, each presenting their views on the human technology. Some expressed admiration for the power and precision of the guns, highlighting their potential benefits. Others remained cautious, concerned about the implications of introducing new technology into the already delicate balance of galactic politics. Zorath, the green-skinned alien who had previously mocked the human technology, now spoke with a more measured tone. "The demonstration was impressive, and the investigation has cleared up the recent sabotage. However, we must ensure that humanity's technology is used responsibly and does not disrupt our existing alliances." Lyra, the tall, silver-skinned alien, responded with a thoughtful expression. "While we must be cautious, it is also important to recognize the value of innovation and the potential benefits it brings. The human technology has proven to be both powerful and reliable. We must find a way to integrate it without causing unnecessary disruption." As the council members continued their debate, Mitchell listened closely. Each argument and counter-argument seemed to bring them closer to a decision, but the outcome remained uncertain. The chamber's atmosphere was a mix of tension and anticipation, the fate of their efforts hanging in the balance. After hours of discussion, Ralcor called for a vote. "We have heard the arguments and reviewed the evidence. It is time to make a decision on the future of human technology in our galactic community. Each council member will cast their vote." The council members cast their votes in silence, the results tallied quickly by the chamber's automated systems. As the final results were prepared, the room was filled with a heavy sense of expectancy. Ralcor announced the outcome with a solemn tone. "The vote is complete. The council has decided to accept human technology into our galactic community, subject to specific conditions." Mitchell's heart skipped a beat. "What conditions?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Ralcor continued. "The council has approved the integration of your technology with the following conditions. First, A joint task force will be established to oversee the deployment and use of your technology. Second, detailed reporting and regular audits will be required to ensure compliance with our regulations. Third, ongoing collaboration with other galactic members is mandatory to address any concerns that may arise. Mitchell and her team exchanged relieved smiles. The conditions were rigorous, but they were a far cry from outright rejection. It meant that their technology would be accepted, and they would have the opportunity to prove its value and integrity. Tarek approached Mitchell with a congratulatory smile. "Congratulations, Commander. The Council's decision is a significant step forward. You've earned this." Mitchell shook Tarek's hand, gratitude evident in her expression. "Thank you, Tarek. This is just the beginning. We're committed to working with the Council and the galactic community to ensure that our technology is used responsibly." As Mitchell and her team prepared to leave the chamber, they felt a renewed sense of purpose. The road ahead would be challenging, but they were ready to meet the Council's conditions and demonstrate their commitment to the galactic community. Outside the chamber, the team gathered for a moment of reflection. The Council's decision was a victory, but it was also a reminder of the responsibilities that came with it. They had proven their technology's worth, but now they had to uphold their promises and continue to build trust with their new galactic allies. Mitchell looked at her team, a determined expression on her face. "We've taken a major step forward today. Let's keep pushing and show the galaxy that humanity is ready to be a valuable member of this community." With that, they set off to begin their new chapter, ready to face the challenges ahead and work toward a future where humanity's place in the galaxy was secure and respected. A new beginning. With the Galactic Council's decision to accept human technology under specific conditions, Commander Sarah Mitchell and her team embarked on a new chapter in their mission. The Council's approval marked a significant milestone, but the real work was just beginning. They now faced the challenge of integrating their technology into the galactic community while adhering to the Council's conditions. The human base, once bustling with the tension of negotiations, was now a hive of activity focused on implementing the new regulations. Mitchell and her team worked tirelessly to set up the Joint Task Force, draft detailed reports, and prepare for regular audits. The Joint Task Force, composed of both human and alien members, was formed to oversee the deployment and use of human technology. It was led by a senior officer from the Council named Zarya, a wise and experienced diplomat known for her fairness and keen understanding of galactic politics. Zarya was tasked with ensuring that the integration process was smooth and that both sides adhered to their agreements. Mitchell met Zarya in the task force's command center, a sleek and sophisticated facility designed for collaboration. The room was filled with advanced technology and representatives from various galactic species. Zarya greeted Mitchell with a warm yet professional demeanor. "Commander Mitchell, it's a pleasure to finally meet you in person," Zarya said, extending her hand. Mitchell shook her hand firmly. "Thank you, Ambassador Zarya. We're eager to work together and ensure that this process goes as smoothly as possible." Zarya nodded. "Our goal is to make this integration successful. We'll need clear communication and cooperation from both sides. Let's get started by reviewing the initial deployment plans and setting up our regular meetings." As the task force delved into the details of the deployment, Mitchell and her team began to see the practical implications of the Council's conditions. They had to adapt their technology to fit galactic standards, conduct regular training sessions, and provide comprehensive reports on their usage. One of the first challenges was adjusting the technology to accommodate different alien environments and requirements. The human engineers worked closely with their alien counterparts to modify the systems and ensure compatibility. It was a complex task, but it was essential for gaining the trust and cooperation of their new allies. Meanwhile, the Council's requirement for regular audits meant that Mitchell's team had to establish transparent procedures and maintain meticulous records. They developed a detailed reporting system to track the deployment and performance of their technology, addressing any concerns raised by the task force. Despite the challenges, the collaboration between humans and aliens began to yield positive results. The task force meetings became productive, with both sides sharing insights and working towards common goals. The initial skepticism gradually gave way to mutual respect and understanding. One day, during a routine task force meeting, Zarya addressed the group. "I want to commend both teams for their hard work and dedication. The integration process is progressing well, and we are seeing positive results from the deployment of human technology." Mitchell felt a sense of accomplishment. "Thank you, Ambassador. We've been working hard to meet the Council's conditions and demonstrate the value of our technology." Zarya smiled. "Your efforts are making a difference. We are on track to achieving a successful integration, and I believe this will pave the way for further cooperation between our species." As the integration continued, Mitchell and her team began to see the fruits of their labor. The technology was being used effectively across different galactic environments, and the feedback from the task force was positive. The humans' presence in the galaxy was no longer seen as an intrusion, but as a valuable addition to the community. One evening, as Mitchell reviewed the latest reports in her office, she received a message from Tarek. The Council had requested a special briefing to discuss the progress of the integration and to address any remaining issues. Mitchell attended the briefing with a sense of anticipation. The Council chamber was filled with representatives from various species, all eager to hear about the progress of the integration. Ralcor, the Council leader, addressed the assembly. "Commander Mitchell, we are pleased with the progress made in integrating human technology into our galactic community. Your efforts have demonstrated a commitment to responsibility and collaboration." Mitchell stood before the Council, feeling a mix of pride and nervousness. "Thank you, Ralcor. Our team has worked hard to meet the Council's conditions and to ensure that our technology is used effectively and responsibly." Ralcor continued, "The Council acknowledges the positive impact of your technology and the successful collaboration with the Joint Task Force. We believe that this marks the beginning of a new era of cooperation between our species." The Council members nodded in agreement, their expressions reflecting approval and satisfaction. The atmosphere in the chamber was one of optimism and mutual respect. As the meeting concluded, Mitchell and her team left the chamber with a renewed sense of purpose. The successful integration of their technology was a significant achievement, but they knew that their work was far from over. They had established a foothold in the galactic community, but they had to continue demonstrating their commitment and reliability. Mitchell looked at her team, a determined expression on her face. "We've made great progress, but this is just the beginning. Let's continue to build on our success and show the galaxy that humanity is a valuable and trustworthy ally." With that, the team set off to continue their mission, ready to face the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead. The journey to establish humanity's place in the galaxy had been arduous, but it had also been rewarding. They were now part of a larger galactic community, and their future was filled with possibilities and promise.